Michael. Strahan was a nightmare for quarterbacks during his playing days, a relentless defensive end whose name alone made offensive linemen double-check their stance and quarterbacks second-guess their audibles. But even the fiercest legends, the kind who once struck fear into some of the greatest players in the NFL, can fall victim to a little mischief, especially when Halloween is just around the corner. And on this particular Sunday morning, Strahan, the Hall of Famer turned beloved television personality, found himself in a situation he couldn't tackle, dodge, or sack his way out of, a perfectly executed live TV prank that left him absolutely terrified. The whole thing unfolded on Fox NFL Sunday, the network's weekly football show that Strahan co-hosts alongside Terry Bradshaw, Howie Long, Kurt Menefee, and Jimmy Johnson, a lineup of legends and jokesters who've mastered the art of balancing insightful football talk with pure entertainment. The crew was in their usual groove, breaking down upcoming games, debating which teams were shaping up to be the scariest contenders in the league this season. Naturally, with Halloween just days away, the set was already decorated with pumpkins, cobwebs, and playful spooky touches that made the whole atmosphere festive and fun. The discussion was lighthearted, about who had the best defense, which offense was unstoppable, and which team could give opponents nightmares, all metaphors that fit the theme of the season perfectly. Little did Strahan know that while he was dissecting game plans and power rankings, he was also walking right into one of the most hilarious ambushes of his broadcasting career. It started innocently enough. Kurt Menefee was tossing questions around. Howie Long was chiming in with that signature grin, and Terry Bradshaw was cracking jokes, as always. Strahan, ever the charismatic analyst, was mid-sentence, passionately talking about a team's defensive line when it happened, the moment that would soon go viral across social media. From behind the cameras, a figure slowly began creeping toward Strahan's chair. The audience couldn't see it yet, and neither could Strahan, but his co-hosts definitely could, and you could see the mischief brewing in their eyes. Someone in a long white robe and a blank white mask, eerily reminiscent of the classic horror villains from slasher films, tiptoed closer, the silent figure moving with exaggerated care, clearly savoring every moment before the scare. And then, in one quick instant, Strahan caught a glimpse of the figure from the corner of his eye. His reaction was instantaneous and utterly genuine, the kind of startled jolt that even he, a man whose face-down 300-pound lineman, couldn't suppress. His entire body jumped, his eyes went wide, and he spun around in shock, blurting out, "What's wrong with you, man?" His voice, usually so controlled and confident, cracked with surprise as the rest of the crew burst into uncontrollable laughter. For a few seconds, Strahan looked around, half laughing, half trying to regain his composure, but it was clear that the prank had landed perfectly. You know what? When I punch somebody in the face around here on national TV," he said, still laughing but trying to act tough, a playful warning that only made his co-hosts laugh even harder. The whole thing was comedy gold. A big, tough former NFL star, known for his fearlessness on the field, jumping out of his chair like a teenager watching a horror movie alone at night. The prankster took off the mask, revealing a staff member who was clearly enjoying every second of Strahan's reaction. The room was filled with laughter. Bradshaw nearly fell out of his chair. Howie Long was doubled over, and Menefee couldn't stop chuckling as they replayed the moment on the studio screens. Even Strahan, despite being the target of the joke, couldn't help but laugh at himself once he realized how dramatic his reaction looked on camera. Fox's social media team wasted no time. Within minutes, they had clipped the footage and uploaded it to Instagram with the perfect caption. The video instantly blew up. Fans, players, and even celebrities started flooding the comments with jokes and reactions. It wasn't just funny. It was the kind of relatable, human moment that reminded everyone that no matter how tough someone seems, nobody's immune to a good old-fashioned jump scare. Come on. Big dog, ha 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 ha, wrote Aaron Donald, one of the NFL's most dominant defensive players today, a man who probably grew up watching Strahan's highlight reels. His comment captured the sentiment perfectly. Here was one defensive great laughing at another, Not out of mockery, but in that good-natured, locker room-style humor that only athletes share. As more NFL stars chimed in, the comment section became a mini reunion of sorts, a place where current and former players connected through laughter. Fans were tagging friends, sharing the clip across platforms, and even creating memes. Some wrote captions like, "When you think you're unsackable but Halloween says otherwise," or, "Even Strahan's gap couldn't save him from this scare." It became one of the most talked about sports moments of the week. Not for what happened in a game, but for what happened on a TV set. It's funny when you think about it. Strahan, who built an entire career on being fearless, on charging into chaos and thriving in it, was momentarily defeated by a masked prankster in a studio. But that's also part of why fans love him. Over the years, Strahan has built a reputation for being as approachable and genuine as he has accomplished. Whether he's anchoring Good Morning America, hosting the $100,000 Pyramid, or analyzing football on Sundays, he brings an authenticity and warmth that makes him feel less like a celebrity and more like that funny, charismatic friend everyone wishes they had. His reaction to the prank wasn't some polished, media-trained moment. It was real, human, and hilarious. It reminded fans that beneath all the success, fame, and accolades, Strahan is just a regular guy who can get startled like anyone else. That's part of his charm. He never hides behind his image. He laughs at himself, he embraces the moment, and he knows that a good sense of humor can make even the most embarrassing situation memorable. In fact, it wasn't the first time Strahan had been the target of a scare. Over the years, he's become somewhat of a magnet for pranks, maybe because his reactions are always so expressive. Whether it's during Halloween segments on GMA or surprise moments on set, his colleagues clearly know how to get him good. But this particular scare stood out, not only because of how perfectly timed it was, but because it showed that even after decades in the spotlight, Strahan is still someone who doesn't take himself too seriously. What makes moments like this resonate so much is how they break through the polished, controlled world of television. Live TV is unpredictable, and that's part of the magic. In an age where so much content feels rehearsed and filtered, watching an authentic reaction like Strahan's is refreshing. It's raw, it's spontaneous, and it's funny in a way that feels universal. You don't need to be a football fan to appreciate it. Everyone knows what it feels like to get startled unexpectedly. That split second of fear followed by laughter when you realize there's no real danger. As the video continued to circulate online, fans began reminiscing about Strahan's career. The Super Bowl win with the New York Giants, his legendary single-season sack record, his infectious smile that's become a pop culture icon, and his seamless transition from athlete to television star. His life has been a masterclass in reinvention, proof that an athlete's legacy can extend far beyond the field. And this small, funny moment only added another layer to that legacy, a reminder that even greatness can have a sense of humor.